Well, I gotta say it, 2025 was the best year for cinema. Okay, well, cinema were great in the previous years, but the movie for this year was pretty flawless, in my opinion. And this is why I am here for today. I'm going to be reviewing every single movie that I just watched and rank them from worst to best. Well, just to make things clear, this ranking is just opinion-based, so no matter which or what movie I am talking about, just try to be civil and do not get mad at me at the end of the video, because it is my opinion. Just tell me your own opinion in the comment down below if you really disagree. And also, I have not seen too much movies for this year, so my ranking is not well far off. So yeah, without wasting any more time, let's get this over with. Alright, let's start off with my least favorite movie, which is Sinners. Okay, yeah, I know I piss on your Kool-Aid, because I am aware that The Sinner is popular. Like, a lot of people just seem to like this movie, but for me, I thought it is overrated. I don't find this movie to be scary at all. The pacing is just so slow that I was just bored from watching the movie, and I just made a comparison video with this movie and The Purge. So if you would like to know more of why I hate this movie so much, then I would recommend checking this video out. Okay, next we have If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. Yeah, well, according to the Rotten Tomato score, I'm guessing that a lot of people like this movie too. But for me, I just don't understand this movie. The whole story is about a single mom probably being delusional, and the characters that's in the movie are just wasted in the story, and the ending was just confusing. Okay, well, maybe I wasn't meant to watch this film, because A24 movies are probably not the kind of film that I watch. So yeah, I got nothing much to say that, except I hate this movie, but not as much as Sinners. Okay, then we have I Know What You Did Last Summer. Well, I only watched half of the movie, and that is because my film teacher was playing this movie during school. We watched the 1997 version, and I don't really like it that much, but at least it was a little bit entertaining. But the new version compared to the old one, it was worse. And I can see through Sony Pictures' schemes, and I can tell that they just completely made the new generation of characters unlikable and outright stupid. I didn't even finish the whole movie, but yet I easily put it in one of the worst movies on the list. Okay, next, oh my gosh, Fishes. Yeah, I didn't like that one either. Fishes was just so confusing with their story, and the main character just gets tortured over and over and over, and this movie just won't stop, and it was very forgettable, and I even don't remember what happened at the end of the movie. Like, the Fishes was a waste of my time. Oh man, yeah, I knew I'm not going to like this one the moment that I started watching, and I thought I'm going to end up liking it too, but it ended up being disappointing. I mean, you have the husband turning into a werewolf, and then there's another werewolf trying to attack the family, and then you have the husband who is turning into a werewolf defend his family, and the werewolf fight sequence was cool too. Like, I honestly thought the Wolfman is going to be one of these horror anti-heroes, but no. Instead, after beating another werewolf, he couldn't control himself, so as a result, out, they just killed off the title character, and that makes the whole development such a waste. Bummer. And the movie The Thunderbolts is biting the dust as well. Yeah, well, I am never interested in watching this movie, so my expectation was low, but I have to watch the movie just to compare The Thunderbolts to the Suicide Squad movie, which I recommend checking this video out. So yeah, when I saw the movie, it just sucked. The characters, well, beside the Winter Soldier, are not that interesting. The action was just boring, in my opinion. Like, the action is just so bad that I even prefer the action in the Loud House movies. Well, the Century was pretty underutilized in this film, and they pretty much made him such a lame character by the end, and the fight scenes with the Century was underwhelming too, and even the Zack Snyder Justice League did better with the action with Superman in comparison. So yeah, overall, just like how I felt about the Suicide Squad, I was not impressed with the Thunderbolts. So yeah, right before the movie was over, well, things just got worse for me when these group of anti-heroes were called the New Avengers, which that doesn't make sense because they are supposed to be the Thunderbolt, you know, a rip-off version of the Suicide Squad. But no, people just saw them as a team that they are not, and that bothers me. If it weren't for that ending part, then this movie wouldn't make it to my worst list, but it just did. Well, if you enjoyed this movie, then that is completely fine. I won't judge you. But for me, I don't care for it, and I definitely did not have a good time. Well, although there are some people that is a big fan of the Thunderbolts movie, and they even put it on the best list, unlike me, but that does not change my mind for how generic this film was, and this is why it is not much higher in my list. Okay, then we have one battle after another. Yeah, I felt bad for putting this movie on the worst list, but I honestly did not like it for all the wrong reasons. Well, on paper, it is a pretty good movie, but because of the 2 hours and 40 minutes runtime, it was boring. Like, they just add a lot of confusing scenes to add into the 3 hours runtime, and this movie was too long that I even think about walking out of the theater and doing something else for the rest of the day. But I was going to review this movie, which I did in my channel. Oh, and by the way, just recently, like one time, I just got nightmares where I am still in the theater, still watching this long movie, and it felt like forever, and I just wanted it to be over. Well, if you enjoyed this movie as well, and you don't mind the wrong runtime, then that's good for you. You are stronger than I am, but one battle after another was a 2 hours and a half torture, into the point I rated so low that it made it to the worst list. Alright, next up, Plankton movie. I have heard positive about the Plankton movie, but me personally, in my opinion, this movie sucks. The Plankton movie is just yet again another simple SpongeBob spin-off that felt like it is made for the new generation, and the new generation of SpongeBob is just bad right now. And despite Mr. Warren producing this movie, they didn't even get the timeline right. Well, instead of doing the friend or foe origin story, they just have Plankton steal the secret formula all because Mr. Krabs is successful with the Krabby Patty, and that makes the dynamic between Plankton and Mr. Krabs less impactful, and it just doesn't make sense, and it was rather generic. Well, if you'd like to know more of why this movie didn't impress me so much, then go check out my previous video where I compare the Plankton movie to Sponge Out of Water. That way you can get an understanding of my perspective. So yeah, if you enjoyed the Plankton movie just like everyone else do, then that's fine by me. You can do you, but I personally despise this film. But, just to be generous, it was better than the other worst films that I have seen on the list, but it still doesn't change my mind, and that leads us to the okay movie tier. Okay, the first movie on the okay tier is the movie called Companion. Well, I don't have much to say about this movie because it does felt like a repeat to the first Megan movie. Well, except the villain wins at the end, which the villain is actually the hero in this, and we have to root for her. Yeah, Companion was a pretty okay movie, to be honest. Until Dawn. Well, I don't play the game, but I did see the playthrough, and I was expecting to see the same exact story from the games, but unfortunately, it was just a generic horror movie where the horror villains go after a group of dumb teenagers, which on paper, it sounds pretty boring when you think about it, and plus on that, I was falling asleep when I watched it, and I almost did went to sleep. So yeah, I don't have anything to say, but to say it's not that special. Another okay movie I seen is Back on Action. Okay, the action was pretty good, I give it that, but the story is forgettable, and it was just a simple spy movie, really. I was on my phone while I'm watching it, and when I finished watching the movie, I was like, well, that's the movie that I'm going to forget, and that's what ended up happening here. Okay, the brand new Smurf movie. Yeah, judging by the trailer, this movie does look pretty bad. When I watch it, well, it wasn't that great, just like I expected, but I don't think it is terrible. It has some character development stuff with Magic Smurf, and this movie does have less musical numbers, but overall, this movie just couldn't get my childhood right. So yeah, that one is pretty alright. Nova King. Well, it's a fun action movie like Nobody, but I think this movie should have been longer to make it more emotional in a extent, and the climax was underwhelming in my opinion. The Henry Danger movie. Okay, well, it doesn't feel like a Henry Danger movie. It felt more like a multiverse movie, where Henry from the future have to travel to different dimension, team up with his biggest fan, fight other dark enemies just to get home. Yeah, that kind of story was just simple and forgettable, although the action is good. The character growth, especially for Kid Danger, are good, but I think The Thundermans is a better movie because it does felt like the show source material, and that was memorable. And also, when I was making a list with the okay movies, I almost forgot to include the Henry Danger movie, and that's how forgettable it was. So yeah, I just wonder what they're going to do with their cinematic universe. Okay, then Legend of Ochi. Okay, well that is the A24 movie that I thought it was decent, but I don't think I am the biggest fan of this movie because it was just simple all the way through, and I was just on my phone while watching this. So yeah, I would rather watch it over If I Have Legs, I Will Kick You, but I'd rather be watching better movies than this. Better, man. Okay, I felt bad for putting this movie on the okay area because I thought it was well emotional and executed story, but at the same time, I don't really liked it that much because the genre for this movie is musical, and I am not a big fan of musical number movies, especially it comes from Disney. Well, although there are some musical sequence that were good, and there's one musical scene that I found is hilarious. Like Robbie and his friend were like committing mayhem during the dance singing numbers, and I was laughing my butt off the whole time. I showed my friends the same clip from the movie, and they were crying out of laughter. But with all that story, there are some confusing part about it, which I don't get, and I did forgot I have seen this movie, so in this point, I almost forgot to include it into the list, and this is why I ranked it so low on the list. Then we have the Final Destination. Okay, let's be for real here. This movie was just the same as the previous Final Destination movies. Well, I understand that this kind of story are meant to be simple, but this is just getting old, and it even ends with the characters losing at the end, like they basically always do in Final Destination franchise, which I don't like. Well, although, just like I said in my comparison video with Smile, this Final Destination movie was a bit entertaining at times, and this is probably why I ranked this movie in number 1 out of these okay movies, which that makes it the best okay film. Okay, now that we are done with the generic movie area, now we can go to the good movies here. Alright, the first movie on the good movie list here is the Taekwondo tournament short film. Well, if you didn't know this, I went to a film school where they made short films, and they just recently played all my classmates' short film in a movie theater, including mine. Well, I made 2 of them, and they're both based off from the Karate Kid movies, and I gotta say, I did pretty awesome. So of my friend and everyone else that made this short film. Well, although, because of the fact it is a short film, the movie is not long enough to flesh out the characters in the story. Well, although, I am making a 3rd short film that is based on my own comic book character, and I will eventually start making it. So yeah, that's all for the Taekwondo tournament short film, the Wizard Kid and all that. Well, if you're interested in watching these short films, go follow my school YouTube channel. Shout out to them. Alright, next we have Tron Ares. Well, I have not seen the previous movies, so I was watching it with my brain turned off, which it is good because I just want to enjoy a good action movie without thinking too much and criticize it. So yeah, I enjoyed Tron Ares, so you can can't get mad at me for that. Now we have Dogman. Yeah, that was an awesome movie coming from DreamWorks, an animated movie company which I am not a big fan of. Well, the pacing of the movie was really fast, but it has the emotional core, especially for the villains. The action was cool. Well, Dogman and Petey working together was so unexpected because I have read the Dogman book before and I never seen Dogman and Petey work together, so that was the first. So overall, the Dogman movie was a good time. The Loud House Christmas movie. Oh wait a minute, not that Christmas movie. I'm talking about that Christmas movie, Naughty or Nice. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I thought it was way better than the terrible live-action Christmas film that came out in 2021. It was fun to watch. The Loud Sisters had more screen time this time around, so of the parents, and it has the character arc for Lincoln Loud, which that makes the Loud House movies so special to me. Well, although it is my least favorite animated Loud House movie for the right reasons, despite the good pacing, I really think they need to extend the movie further, and the story of the movie was basically about Lincoln ending up on the naughty list, which I don't buy, but thankfully the movie just addressed that by basically saying that Lincoln Loud is a nice kid with a few naughty flaws, which it is true, but something about this story doesn't make sense. I mean, how come the Loud Sisters are in the nice list, but Lincoln is not? The Loud Sisters had did a lot of questionable stuff in the show that practically makes them as naughty as he is. Maybe the movie plot should be about the Loud siblings being the flippers and being put on the naughty list, and not just Lincoln. It would make more sense and make for a better plot to develop them. And like I said in my review, the cameo scene that involved the Ninja Turtles had lead to nowhere. Well, the other characters did have their own subplot as well, and it did lead into something, and they flesh it out too. Well, unlike Rita's subplot that is resolved so quickly, well, the climax battle was fun, but it doesn't feel like a climax, and the villain in this movie was generic. But with all flaws aside, Naughty or Nice is a good movie. Well, it is not one of the best Loud House movie, so it doesn't deserve to be much higher on the 2025 films list. Alright, the next movie on this list is the new SpongeBob movie, Search for SquarePants. Well, I am about to watch it with my friend right now. Well, SpongeBob is one of my favorite cartoons in my childhood, so I really hope the movie is good, because the original one from 2004 was excellent. Well, the second movie is pretty good too, but it was not great. Well, the third movie was okay, but I'm just going to come to this movie with no expectation at all. I just needed a dang good SpongeBob movie since the first. So yeah, I'm just going to come over to my friend's house, and I will see you guys there at the movies. Ready for the SpongeBob film?
Yeah!
Alright.
It's gonna give me Sponge out of water vibes.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Because I watched that movie in theaters.
Which one, Sponge out of water?
Yeah.
Oh, I totally missed out on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yo. Yo, this is dope. Beef in the poster too. Okay, yeah.
Plus SpongeBob blanket.
$50, not that bad.
No,
Yeah.
not bad at all. Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Oh yeah, we are, but the movie's the only.
Yeah.
Those right there, that's a trade stuff, and you can see through the goggles.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah.
And then we've also got SpongeBob plushies. It's a shoulder bunny.
Oh.
So it comes with a magnet, and it rides on your shoulder.
Oh wow.
Okay, that's all.
Are the blankets
All right.
big or they're small?
They're throw blankets.
Huh?
They're throw blankets.
Throw blankets. Oh.
Which means they're like what, like this, and like that.
Oh, okay.
They're about my size.
Okay.
Oh, thank you though.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Alright. Yeah.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah. I haven't seen a Nickelodeon movie in theaters for a while.
Me either, man.
Yeah.
Since the live action Ninja Turtles.
Yes. Oh, and Mutant Mayhem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Paige.
I'm really devouring it. Toy Story 5! I'm Bowser Jr. I'm entertaining my father now. At least it's not too loud.
Turtle suplex. How many people do you think
The
will be
last
blind? It's
movie
just
that
what
we
your
saw
brain
in
does?
theaters.
Yeah, man. It's
Yeah.
What are we laughing about?
Big guy. Big guy. Yeah. Big guy. That guy, it's okay.
I guess that's.
Oh, it'll be something else.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Squidward didn't listen though. Like,
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
bro.
yeah, he should have listened to Mr. Krabs.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh wow, it was generic.
Yeah. What do you think of it? You liked it? You loved it?
I did.
Me too. Oh, I did it. Why you don't love it?
It's too simple.
Oh, it's too simple. Oh,
And I can tell that they just completely changed Mr. Krabs' backstory.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Again?
Oh, who's your favorite character in the movie?
Well, the Fine Dutchman.
Yeah, me too. Well, he looked scary though when he was a ghost, though, but he doesn't look scary when he's a human.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, I should pick the Flying Dutchman as your favorite character.
well, he's always manipulative.
Oh,
yeah.
manipulate. What does that mean though? Like,
Yeah, he tricks SpongeBob into being a ghost.
oh,
Yeah.
is it a little too fast pacing though? Sponge on the run.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah. For me, I don't love it though, but I liked it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
so sad.
Yeah.
What would you rate this movie?
I'll give it like a 7 out of 10.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, me, a high 6.
Why 6 out of 10?
Well, it's probably a 6 out of 10 because of the lore of Mr. Krabs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mr. Krabs served in the Navy,
Yes.
but he never met the Flying
Dutchman.
Dutchman. Okay, he never met the Flying Dutchman. Yeah.
I didn't like how they used the clown squeaky noise.
Oh, yeah. Me either.
Yeah.
You heard that?
What, the squeaky noise? Oh.
Yeah. I did hear that a little bit.
Oh. Did that came from a clown nose?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Or a clown horn or something?
Who knows?
Oh. Which squeak noise do you like better? Like the clown noise squeak or the Deadpool his body squeak?
Oh my god. Probably, Deadpool.
Yeah. At least it's not the clown squeaky noise.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. It sounded like more like a toy for dogs.
Oh, yeah. Would you watch it again?
I don't know if I'll watch it again.
Yeah, me either.
Would you watch it again or?
No.
Oh, why not?
Well, I think I just seen it enough, you know.
Yeah, I think I've seen enough too, though.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that my score might get higher when I watch it again, but I don't know.
Yeah. At least the last Ronin movie is canceled.
Yes. Thank you, Jesus.
Yes. And I don't want to see the turtles die and all that.
Oh yes, me too.
You know, like what I would. Okay, you know what I don't like though. I don't like how my Super Shredder killed a Splinter. I did not like that.
Oh yeah, me
hate
either,
that.
bro. Ugh.
There will also be a reboot of the live action Ninja Turtles.
Yes, that is directed by the Sonic movies.
Ooh,
Yeah.
wow.
Look at that.
Yeah.
The next Paramount movies after SpongeBob.
Yes. What Street Fighter is going to be owned by Paramount?
Yes.
The new Street Fighter movie.
Yes. That movie about the monkey, bro.
Oh, the monkey.
Yes. Primate.
Primate. Oh.
Yeah, they're about to Megan fight it.
Oh, God. Oh, there it is. I see it right there.
Yes. And then we have Screen 7.
Yeah.
Which other SpongeBob movie do you yikes search for SquarePants better than? Which SpongeBob movie?
I gotta say, I think, probably better than the 2004 SpongeBob movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I like to see SpongeBob out of the water though and all that.
Oh.
Yeah. What about you?
But all the SpongeBob movie were out of the water.
Oh yeah. All of them.
4 times in a row now.
Oh yes. I used to love watching SpongeBob when I was a kid. The TV show. Then it got boring now these days.
Oh yes.
I don't.
Ever since the SpongeBob creator, it
Died.
Yeah. It's not the same anymore.
Yeah, it's not the same
you know?
anymore.
Yeah.
I don't watch it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with the Nickelodeon movies.
Yeah, me too.
I enjoyed Zootopia 2 more than Search for SquarePants and Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
Oh yeah, same.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I'm putting a Zootopia 2 at number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Is Zootopia 2 is in first place. I'm gonna put, let's see, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 in second place, and Search for SquarePants in third.
Yeah.
What about you?
Oh, same. I agree. By the way, I like Search for SquarePants better than the Dirt movie, the Plankton movie, and definitely better than Sandy movie. Yeah. Oh, it's good.
Was it funny?
I mean, some of them are. Yeah. Anyway, peace. Well, I am back home after watching the movie, and, well, as you can tell by me and my friend reaction, I was pretty mixed with the new SpongeBob film. Okay, let's start with the good things that I liked. I liked how they made SpongeBob having a fear of roller coasters in this movie. I thought it was pretty relatable because me personally, I am not a big roller coaster person. So yeah, I liked how they give him that kind of development. And Defying Dutchman, oh man, I did not expect him to be a manipulative character. I mean, he tricked SpongeBob into being a mortal ghost just like he is, and that was well executed, especially for a villain like him. But as for the bad stuff about this movie, well, the pacing is still fast, just like the previous SpongeBob movie is, and the overall story was just simple, and it felt like that was the only story that they're telling. And what I don't get about this movie of how Mr. Krabs met the Flying Dutchman when he served as a Navy, like, that's something that doesn't make sense to me, and that is the exact problem that I had with the Martyr SpongeBob now these days. Like giving the characters totally different story, especially for the Plankton movie standpoint. Like it just lead into so many plot holes and such a messy timeline they just made. Okay, I get that SpongeBob is supposed to be an episodic cartoon and is not something where you have to have continuity, but it just really bothers me, especially this movie was supposed to be made for the fans that grew up with the old SpongeBob. And I don't like how they just add into a funny gag at the end of the movie. Like Squidward just got left behind at the end of the movie, and I thought it was such a cliche, foreshadowing funny gag they just did there, and that makes such a waste of a character too. And for a cartoon movie like SpongeBob, well, it's really not that funny. Well, there's a few scenes that were funny, but most of these jokes in the movie didn't land, in my opinion. Even the audience in the movie theater were just silent, and I haven't even heard a couple of kids that's in the theater laugh either. Well, with that being said, Search for SquarePants was just okay for a SpongeBob movie. Well, I already gave it a 6 out of 10 when I was talking about it with my friend, and I was clear about it. Well, if you plan on watching Search for SquarePants, then I would recommend it to you guys, especially you have children, but at the same time, it is not really my favorite movie of the year. Well, I liked it a little better than the recent Loud House movie, but I don't think my opinion would change anytime soon. Well, now that I just got home, well, I have seen some reviews from the new SpongeBob movie, and it seems like that I am not the only one that is mixed with this movie. Well, there's some people that liked it, but the other has the same reaction as me and my friend when we walk out of the theater, and they pretty much gave it a 7 or a 6 out of 10, just like me and my friend did. And for that, I am pretty worried, and the reviewer even recommend watching Zootopia 2 more than Search for SquarePants, just like my friend ingested. But again, I enjoyed the movie, but not as much as the 2004 movie. But nonetheless, I'm ranking it on the good tier. Alright, next we have Alexander and the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad trip. Wow, man, Jesus, that is such a long name for a movie title. Let's just call it Alexander and the Terrible Road Trip for short, or just Alexander Bad Road Trip. I actually forgot I have seen this movie, and I even forgot to include it on the list, but without the unmemorable satisfaction aside, it was a enjoyable, bad luck, cliche type of family movie. Me personally, I am a sucker when it comes to family movies, so it was pretty nice watching this kind of story. Well, although despite the ending being underwhelming, I would without a doubt recommend it. Well, even with the toilet humor, Five Nights at Freddy's 2, unlike the first movie that did pretty meh with the horror elements, the sequel executes the horror far more better, and I almost got in a couple of jump scares this time around, and I gotta say, the marionette puppet was intimidating, and she easily became my favorite FNAF characters. Okay, well, the reason why I didn't rank it much higher on the list, because I have complaints about the overall plot of the movie, the motivation of the toy animatronic, and plus a plot-twisting villain. Their motivation just seems unclear, and it doesn't make sense. Like, I don't get why the toy animatronics were going after the other people, and why they tried to to possess Abby and try to kill Mike and everyone else, like there's literally no explanation for that, and I just got jetline. The story in the first Five Nights at Freddy's is not great, but at least it felt like a completed story. But Five Nights at Freddy's 2, it felt like a half of a story. Like Vanessa ended up being left behind and ended up being possessed by the marionette as a excuse to set up a third installment, and I really don't like that at all. Well, although they did something that is from the game's source material, but I didn't see enough of that. And even when the movie ends, I just felt as overwhelmed like I did with the first film. But nonetheless, I am impressed of how much a improvement the sequel was than the first film. But I expect the story to be resolved in the third movie, and this is something that they definitely need to make up for. And this is why it is not one of my favorite movies for this year. Well, it is right up there with the great video games movies, but I don't appreciate how they did my favorite human character dirty in this movie. Okay, next, Paddington in Peru. Well, I enjoyed that one too. Like, I thought it was a great movie, but it's not nearly as good as the previous ones, because while I'm watching it, it felt like that Sony Pictures had took over this movie too, because the story is simple and it felt rushed, and the ending was underwhelming. And there's a lot of forgettable stuff. Well, on paper, it was a flesh of breath air, but it was a bit unearned by execution. But I'm just gonna go ahead and give it a great pass. Jurassic World Rebirth. Well, another entertaining movie that you should watch. Well, the plot is yet simple but engaging. And I do like the CGI of the dinosaurs that is used in this film. Well, although the climax scene is pretty lame, and it does feel rushed, but with that being said, it is just only the beginning. Now we have Captain America Brave New World. Okay, this is the movie that I would rather watch over the Thunderbolts, because unlike the Thunderbolts, Brave New World has better action and storyline. Well, especially the action with Red Hulk. Like, that action sequence was awesome, and I don't mind Sam Wilson as Captain America. He did a pretty fine job at being the new Cap. Well, I don't like him as much as Steve Rogers, but he makes a pretty cool version of Captain America. Well, much like Miles made a cool version of Spider-Man. Well, although the movie was pretty fast, in my opinion. Like, I mean, it was too short to even flesh out the characters, and it felt like it could have been longer. Well, for how cool the climax battle was with Red Hulk, well, I wish this final battle would go on a little bit longer, because it felt like that the fight ended pretty quickly, and I was just asking for more action afterwards. I mean, seriously, if they made the movie 2 times longer, then Brave New World would actually make it to my best list, but instead, it just felt so rushed. Man, I hope that Marvel can release a extended cut version of Brave New World. Otherwise, I might end up loving this movie. Well, on the contrary, I do prefer it over Civil War by the story standpoint, but it really needs to extend the story much further. That way we can get a much more impactful movie. And the villain of this movie, Leader, he's was intimidating, like every villain should be, and I yiked him as the manipulation threat. But like I said, I am not the biggest fan of this movie. Well, I prefer other Captain America movies with Steve Rogers, and there's other movies that I like much better, and this is why it is not much higher on the list. But hey, at least it is not a Daredevil Born Again situation. Alright, the final movie on the good tier is the new live-action Dora and the Search for Sol Diogo. Well, I just made a comparison between the two live-action Dora movies. Well, this movie had proven my low expectation, and it was unbelievable really good. I know it has the same story as the 2019 live-action Dora, but the highlight for this movie is the dynamic between Dora and her cousin Diego. They're not just cousins to me in this movie. I saw them as more like brothers and sisters, and I just freaking love this dynamic. They did a real decent job of getting the Dora Explorer cartoon right in every step of the way, and in my opinion, this movie was fun through and through. And wow, talking about this movie, it makes me want to watch it again. Well, I can definitely see the future of how much appreciation I'm going to have with this movie. Well, especially, I don't even watch the Dora cartoon anymore. And for that, I ranked it in number 1 of the good tier. Alright, if you're enjoying this video so far, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and click on this little bell, that way you keep track on new videos that I'm going to be posting. Alright, now that we just had a commercial break, it's time that we get to the moment of truth, the best movie of 2025. Well, again, it is my opinion, so try not to argue with me. So with that being said, it's time that I'm going to share to you all 8 of my favorite films of the year. Number 8 is the Minecraft movie. Okay, I know it is not the best movie for everyone, but you gotta admit, it has been fun, especially watching in theaters with your friends and going crazy over the chicken jockey scene, which I thought it is dumb. Well, at times, it felt like you're playing the games, and the action and visuals really stands out, and overall, it is one of the best video game movies since Mario. Okay, why I ranked it way in the bottom of the list, you may ask? Well, the thing is, despite having a good time, I do have my problems with this movie, and that is the betrayal of the Minecraft main character and the main villain. Okay, the only thing that I agreed with the credits is about Jack Black being Steve. Well, don't get me wrong, I love Jack Black in his movies, but when it comes to which role he played in, well, I don't think Jack Black is the best idea as Steve, because Steve is supposed to be a serious, adventurous character. He does not have a beard, and he is not fat, and for God's sake, he is 16 years old, and we all know that Jack Black is not a teenager. Yoke, I know Jack Black is funny and all, but Steve is supposed to be, like I said, a serious adventure character, and Jack Black, he's more of a comedic actor than just acting serious, and therefore, this is just making Steve just a jokey character, and that is so unfitting. Well, I don't mind it at times, but it just didn't feel right for me, and I wish that they could cast Jason Momoa as Steve instead, considering he was Aquaman, And heck, he could have been a great Steve if Jason Momoa gets to play as him. Well, the main villain of the Minecraft movie was just insufferable. Well, they got the Minecraft creatures right, that is for sure. But what they didn't get right is her incarnation. She has a emotional backstory, but that doesn't lead into anything. And plus, she sent those useless armies to the heroes just to fail, and they didn't even come up with a much smarter plan than that. And out of all of the Minecraft creatures in the movie, the spiders is my least favorite. I am terrified of spiders, and I was so disappointed and upset that they actually put the Minecraft spiders into the movie, and I don't like it at all. And for that, I am so glad that the Minecraft spiders only have one screen time. Well, although the climax battle is good, but I don't feel satisfied like I should. Like, it doesn't feel like the main villain deserve a redemption story for how underdeveloped she was, and it just didn't hit the impact for me. Well, how come I get to feel some satisfaction in the Superman movie? Well, another movie that I will talk about later on the list. Yeah, these two movies are owned by the same company, but they're not even the same by the story standpoint. Well, with that up and downs, I don't hate my time watching the Minecraft movie. I just wish they'd just stop joking around with this movie a bit and give it more time for respect and more emotional context and all that stuff. But since that we don't have a stronger version of the film, I just can't rank this movie any higher. Well, nonetheless, I love this movie, and this is why I put it on my best list. But I have no interest of watching this movie again, and this is why the Minecraft movie is on last place of my best list. Number 7, The Loud House and the Foster Squad. Okay, in case that you have no idea that this movie existed, well, it is my own movie I just made. Well, not only I made a short film, I also made a homemade movie that is about the Loud House characters having a crossover with my own comic book character, and it was a better Loud House movie than Naughty or Nice. The Loud Sisters had way more screen time than all of the Loud House movies in combined, and I gave the Loud siblings in the Foster Squad a well-deserved emotional core and development. Well, I made a original Loud House character named Logan Loud, and he is a tragic anti-hero who is a rival to Lincoln, and I think he is my favorite character of the whole film. And this movie has a lot of surprises, well-executed multiverse stuff. Like, everything just felt like a Loud House fan event. And I am so glad I released this movie on my birthday. Well, if it weren't for the Loud House and the Foster Squad, then the live-action Dora could have made it to my best list instead. So yeah, overall, I made a pretty great film for my first movie on my new channel. Well, I wouldn't call it the best Nickelodeon movie, but I would call it the best Loud House movie that I ever made, and I am so honored to put it in one of the best films of the year. Number 6 is The Karate Kid Legends. Okay, watching this movie, it brings back some good old memory when I watched the Karate Kid movies. Well, the story that involved the main character Lee Fong, it was deep, tragic, and emotional. The action are good. I did root for the new Karate Kid. Like, this movie really served well. but it's nearly not as good as the previous movies. Well, all thanks to Sony Pictures compromising this film, the story and structure that you usually see in Karate Kid movies are just all gone, and we just got in a completely different story instead. I just made a comparison video explaining that, well, despite the strong storytelling, I don't find myself to feel anything like I should. I was just pretty bummed out for how rushed this movie was. Well, if it weren't for Sony Pictures, then this movie will definitely have more time and care put to them. So yeah, the Karate Kid Legends was just a decent Karate Kid movie, but it is still one of the best movies on the list. Number 5, Predator Badlands. Well, I didn't expect myself to watch this movie, but I am glad that I did. Well, instead of making the Predator a cliché horror villain, they made him a horror anti-hero, which I like, and we get to sympathize with this Predator. Well, the action is alright in my opinion, but the story was satisfying when you watch through the end. Yeah, I can't wait to watch this movie again, and I can't wait for the sequel to be made, and I would highly recommend it too. So yeah, with all that, Predator Badlands was a pretty great underdog story, and this is why this movie made it to a list of one of my favorite 2025 films. Number 4, Zootopia 2. I'm actually just working on a comparison video between the sequel and the first movie, and I gotta say, Zootopia 2 is yet another great Disney movie since Toy Story 4, and I pretty much enjoyed it more than Moana 2, which that movie disappointed me by the ending part. So yeah, if Disney keeps up the good sequels, then maybe they will finally step up their game again. So overall, Zootopia 2 was better than I expected, and I highly recommend it. Alright, the next 2 movies that I'm going to talk about, well, it is pretty hard to choose between one of them, because I, in fact, liked both of them equally. But you know what, screw it. Only one movie would be mentioned on the list. So, number 3 is The Fantastic Freaking Four. Yeah, what else I need to say about it? The visuals are just so beautiful, the characters are done right, and the comic book was done justice too. There are some high stakes in the story. We get to finally see Galactus again, well, since the 2007 film barely gave us Galactus, and Galactus in this movie was a threat, and the overall theme of this movie is family. So yeah, what a fantastic movie. Okay, maybe I shouldn't joke about that. Number 2 is the new Superman reboot. Okay, like I said, I love Fantastic Four so much that it is hard to choose between this film and the Superman movie. But after thinking about it for a very long time, well, my only problem that I had with the Fantastic Four is the female version of the Silver Surfer. She's not, well, she's alright in all, but she doesn't feel like the Silver Surfer that I grew up with. And plus, the side characters don't have as much as screen time than the Fantastic Four did. Like, they just come off as forgettable. And this is probably why the Superman movie is preferred. The visuals is beautiful and colorful. They did the source material from the comics as well. The villains are intimidating, and the action is not too overused, just like Zack Snyder Man of Steel was. And unlike the Fantastic Four, the side characters had more screen time in comparison. Well, although I feel like this movie needs to be longer to flesh things out, but overall, it was such an amazing movie. Well, me personally, I'm more of a Marvel fan, and I will forever be on Team Marvel, but when it comes to the comic book movies done right for this year, well, I think DC Comics deserve the win for the first time forever. Alright, now, as for number 1, I'm pretty sure you guys would be surprised what I put in number 1. Megan 2.0. Yeah, I know it is not an excellent movie for everyone either. It is indeed one of these disappointing sequels, but me personally, I enjoyed this movie for all the wrong reasons. Well, before watching Megan 2.0, I watched the first Megan back in 2023. So after I watched the first movie, well, I did not care for it at first, but then I watched this movie again this year, and I end up liking this movie. But watching Megan 2.0 for the first time, I quickly fall in love with the Megan horror franchise. That's so sweet. Megan, please don't interrupt. Well, anyway, just say what you will about this movie. I don't mind Megan as a hero in the sequel. I think they gave her a decent redemption arc. Well, in fact, I understand Megan's character more than I understand the Nickelodeon character, probably. The movie is generic, sure, but the action was impressive, and if you experience the action in theater, then it is absolute cinema to you, and it was the funniest movie I've seen ever since for a long time. I mean, seriously, me and my friends were making fun of this movie so much, we repeated the same scene in funny dialogue, and I even showed them a funny clip from the movie, and make up with these hilarious scenario what Megan would do, and that's how memorable this movie was. And speaking of which, Megan herself was the highlight of this film. She has more personality this time around, and she gotten more powerful in this movie. Like, Megan is by far the best anti-hero of the year, hands down. And I end up falling in love with the human characters that I don't like in the first movie. For a horror movie, it has a pretty touching emotional core, and honestly, I wanted Megan 3.0 to be made. That way I can explore Megan's story much further. Alright, don't get me wrong, I think Superman and the Fantastic Four are the better movies, and I don't think Megan 2.0 is nearly as good as these two comic book films, but I'm actually ranking movies based off how much I enjoy any of these films. So when it comes to an entertaining factor, well, Megan 2.0 did entertain me the most for this year. Well, if you're one of these people that is disappointed by this movie, or you wish that it could have been better, or out straight dislike this movie, then that is totally fine. Everyone has their opinion, but in my opinion, Megan 2.0 was a slight improvement over the first by the pacing and goofiness, and it was such a good time for me overall. Well, it might not be the strongest film of the year, but it was the most fun one. Well, although the only thing that I would like to change about this movie is the lack of emotional villainous motivation of Amelia and the rest of this stuff that doesn't make sense to me. But with all flaws and all aside, I love Megan 2.0 so freaking much, and this is why it is my personal favorite movie of 2025. Well, here are the official results of my rankings. The movie Sinners, in my opinion, is all the way in last place, while Megan 2.0 is on first place with no questions asked. Well, like I said, 2025 is cinema's best year, and overall, it is flawless. Well, although my expectation is pretty low for the next year movies, so I'm just going to expect the worst for sure. Well, anyway, if you enjoyed this video, well, again, don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you disagree with my rankings, then tell me in the comments down below of what is your favorite 2025 film and why, or in this case, what is your least favorite film of 2025, and you better come up with a good reason of why. My name is Isaiah Belfort, and I will see you guys next year, so I wish you guys a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.